didn't look before I left. Now there is no ground to catch me. I hope that you're no heartbreaker. I wanna do right by you. From where I stand, you look so fine. You give me every sign to please you. I won't be no love faker. I wanna do right by you. I wanna do right by you. I wanna try to be the light that guides you through. I wanna do right by you. Every day and night, I'll be right by you. If you're afraid, I understand. An honest heart is hard to come by. I won't be no word breaker. I wanna do right by you. I wanna do right by you. I wanna try to be the light that guides you through. I wanna do right by you. Every day and night, I'm alright. I wanna do right by you. I wanna try to be the light that guides you through. I wanna do right by you. Every day and night, I'll be right by you. And that's Right By You, by me. That's right. Right By You by Bert Lee, which was originally recorded in 1991 with the help of Dan Simpson, engineer extraordinaire, with whom I am currently doing more work, which is a wonderful news. That particular recording is more recent. I recorded that about 6 years ago here in Gravesend, Brooklyn. And hi, I'm Bert, and I'm happy to be here. It's Sunday night. Could be a quiet night, could be a lively night. It really depends on who shows up. Whatever it is, I'm going to have fun playing music, and I'm going to be playing for a little bit longer than usual because I have some plans to play some nice videos for you and to read from my books and kind of let you know what I'm up to. So my plan is to run down a few tunes first to get warmed up, and so while we're in that kind of suave groove, let's do a Hobeam song. Quiet nights of quiet stars, quiet chords on my guitar, floating in the silence that surrounds us. Quiet thoughts and quiet dreams, quiet walks by quiet streams, and a window that opens on the ocean and the sea. How lovely. This is where I long to be, here with you so near to me, till the final flicker of life's ember. I who am lost and lonely, believing life is only a bitter tragic joke, have found in you the meaning of existence, all my love. This is where I long to be, here with you so near to me, until the final flicker of life's ember. I who am lost and lonely, believing life is only a bitter tragic joke, have found in you the meaning of existence, all my love. Oh, the meaning of existence, all my love. Antonio Carlos Jobim. This is a Bert Lee song. I'm a shipwrecked man in a sea of trouble, watching the rain make crazy puzzles on the window pane. In a sea of rain, oh, how do you stay dry? When I'm down, I go put on a record, even if I've heard that song too many times before. I play it one time more, it still makes me cry. She's gone, she left no note, no number to call. She's gone, and lately I ain't seen her at all again, and all I do is watch the rain. She's gone, she left no note, no number to call. She's gone, and lately I ain't seen her at all again, and all I do is watch the rain. And if I were a bird, I'd fly above this rain cloud. Where the sun is shining, I'd be flying high. At least I'd try, oh, if I were a bird, but I ain't. If you ain't heard, I'm just a shipwrecked man in a sea of trouble, watching the rain make crazy puzzles on the window pane. In a sea of rain, how do you stay dry? There you go. Central Park Sheiks. Shipwrecked Man, Bert Lee wrote that. You might have heard of him. And I say hello to my good friend Harvey Bojarski. I have regulars that show up here. I hope that if you're somebody coming around for the first time, say hello in our chat stream if that's available to you with the device you're using. I'd like to know who's listening to me. And if you're picking this up in a replay, it's going to go on for a while, and there's going to be lots of nice music, and you'll meet some nice folks in my chat stream. If it is like the usual evening, there'll be some friendly people here. Happy to be playing music on this Sunday night, almost the end of November. While I'm in that kind of Central Park chic-y kind of groove, which we were the Eastern Kings of Western Swing, probably one of the most famous, unfamous bands in the history of the music industry. A giant hit in Japan, as it were. This is a song I wrote right after I left the Sheiks, and I always wished that they had been around for it, because we probably would have done a good job with it. This is Daphne by Django Reinhardt, Stefan Grappelli, and Bert Lee. They're dead, and they won't mind that I put myself in that line. I wrote the lyrics. Well, it's a springtime in the Champs-Élysées, little breeze stirring in the trees, listening to the birds and bees and thinking about my Daphne. You can keep your Spanish ladies, your Frauleins and your Rose O'Grady's. I'm as happy as a man can be, oh, just to have my Daphne. She's an Eiffel, my oh my, you know she makes me wanna flap and fly. Un, deux, trois. Can, man, oh man. There is nothing sweeter than her kisses, just like sips of wine. When she says she's mine, all mine, leaves me speechless as a mime, and I'm crazy about my Daphne. She's the rave of old King Louis, lacy dress and parapluie. Shout out ooh la la and ooey. I'm crazy about my Daphne, with her kisses just like sips of wine. When she says she's mine, all mine, you know she leaves me speechless as a mime. And I'm crazy about her, but diddly doodle doodle do, but I'm doodle doodle but I'm dwee but do today. I love Paris every moment of the year. I love Paris. Oh, why do I love Paris? Because my love is near. Daphne. I've got a nice lineup of some tunes I just recently started doing, and my intention is to play some recorded music and some videos, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to play a recent recording that I did with my buddy Dan Simpson. I sent him the files, and he did the final mixing and mastering on this song, and I'm going to combine it with a little bit of commercial business here. Let me make sure I've got all my little buttons pressed properly. There you go. Win Back Your Love. It's over. I have a complicated kind of setup which I'll be publishing on Facebook so people can see how I do the thing that I'm doing here. And so maybe some of my friends that do live streams can see how my setup works, and they can do some of these things that I'm able to. It took me a while to figure out how to do it, so here it is. So anyway, here's a little advertisement for my Bandcamp. And along with it, if you already know about Bandcamp, you can just tune out what's on the screen and listen to this beautiful recording of a tune called Win Back Your Love by me, and engineered and mastered by Dan Simpson. After all this time, do I have to tell you I'm not guilty of the crimes that you accuse me of? What do I have to do to win back your love? If I had to do it all again, would I even be just one whit wiser? Oh, probably not. You have to live with what you've got. My hands are empty now, and I'm really not too sure just how we'll ever make amends. Is this the way our story now barely friends. If you ask me why, I guess I'd have to try some awkward alibi you'd disabuse me of. What do I have to do to win back your love? That's Win Back Your Love, which can be found on my upcoming album, which will be called Swimming in Falling Water. Some people may already have downloaded an earlier version of that was originally featured with my album called The Pop Cycle, but the re-recording and the remixing of it inspired me to put it together with that future collection in a much better version. And once again, thanks to Dan Simpson, engineer extraordinaire and old friend. Okay, this is one of the very first songs I ever did write. By His Majesty's decree, the people are invited to a celebration on the palace lawn. If you come just after 3, the food and drink will be provided. If you don't go, you'll wish that you had gone. For the princess is engaged to a 6-day tandem racer, and a faster man on wheels there's never been. And the wedding date is reckoned at July the 22nd. When he arrives, the celebration will begin. Well, the king was very glad that his daughter finally had a husband trapped to occupy her days. For she rarely did a thing but to sit and weep and sing, and to wander through the palace garden maze. And the tandem racer's name was Baron Basil Werner, possessor of a world-famed racing cup. He spins his silver pedals, he polishes his metals, and you couldn't count the brides that he stood up. On July the 21st, the royal wedding was rehearsed, and everyone, except the groom, was there. They tried hard not to worry, they were sure that he would hurry and arrive with lots of time to spare. But from Luxembourg the tandem racer sent a cablegram that he'd raced against the clock and he had lost. And his wheels spin round and they make a whirring sound, and you couldn't count the countries that he'd crossed. Well, they held the wedding anyway, though it started in to rain, and the princess emptied water from her shoe. It rained all day and the baron never came, and the people all found better things to do. The 6-Day Bicycle Racer, a first good song I ever wrote, I think. Wrote it when I was about 16 years old. Oh, hi, Lenny Molotov. No, you're not too late for that. It actually wasn't on my set list, but as a request, it will always be done for you. I'll be doing that in a little while. The title song from my Salt for Silver album, which coincidentally is called Salt for Silver, because that's the way that works. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. And in fact, if I have somewhere in here, I believe. Very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Von Pfister. Oh, I'm getting an error reading. YouTube is not receiving enough video to main. Are you folks getting some buffering or some problems with the video feed? Let me know, because I'm getting a warning concerning that. If somebody would say, my picture's not good or something like that, it helps me hopefully make an adjustment I can make without breaking stride here. Often that warning I get doesn't really mean anything. So if anyone can take a moment and just send me a message, picture not good, sound not good, syncing not good, anything, so I know you're there. So, and I know it takes a minute for me to say it and for you to hear it, and so just let me know what's going on there. Okay, this is a Bee Gees song. In the event of something happening to me, there is something I would like you all to see. It's just a photograph of someone that I knew. Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't talking too loud, you'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. I keep straining my ears to hear a sound. Maybe someone is digging underground. Or have they given up and all gone home to bed, thinking those that once existed must be dead? Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. I keep straining my ears to hear a sound. Maybe someone is digging underground. Or have they given up and all gone home to bed, thinking those that once existed must be dead? Have you seen my wife, Mr. Jones? Do you know what it's like on the outside? Don't go talking too loud, you'll cause a landslide, Mr. Jones. New York mining disaster from the very first Bee Gees album. That first Bee Gees album was pretty amazing. I mean, you know, they had a great career after that, and I'm happy that they made so much money off the disco stuff. But if you go back and listen to that first album, there's stuff there that rivaled the best of the Beatles, in my humble opinion. And now, speaking of people that write great songs and sing them in a great way, this is a song by Cyndi Lauper. I do this from time to time. Love this song. Lying in bed I hear the clock tick and I think of you, caught up in circles. Confusion is nothing new. Flashbacks, warm nights, almost left behind. A suitcase of memories. Time after sometimes you picture me, and I'm walking so far ahead, and you calling out to me, and I can't hear what you just said. You say go slow, I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost and you look, then you will find me. time after time. If you fall, I will catch you, I'll be waiting, time after time. After my picture fades and this darkness turns into gray, you'll be watching through windows, wondering if I'm okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside, the drum beats out of time. If you're lost and you look, then you will find me, time after time. If you fall, I will catch you, I'll be waiting, time after time. If you're lost and you look, then you will find me, time after time. If you fall, I will catch you and I will be waiting, time after time after time after time. There you go. Cyndi Lauper tune for you, for your listening pleasure. Okay, what have I got left here? I got a lot of music to play for you tonight, and I welcome you all here. Oh, and it's so nice to see you, Kip Osborne, wonderful ventriloquist friend of mine who's got a thing called a cow, C-O-W, and Friends, which you can find on YouTube and be enormously entertained by his topical ventriloquy. Wonderful friend of mine from my old Vivaldi days, where I met so many nice people. Okay, this is a Dylan song. Got lots of lyrics. So I'm going to take these lyrics and place them up where they can be easily read by me on my cheat sheet thing. This is an amazing invention of mine. It's made out of chopsticks and coat hangers. Well, it's not going to work. I'm just going to have to leave it down here on my other amazing invention as I wreck my studio with my guitar. Okay. 'Twas in another night time, one of toil and blood. Blackness was a virtue, and the streets were full of mud. I came in from the wilderness, a creature void of form. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. And if I pass this way again, you can rest assured I'll always do my best for her, on that you have my word. In a world of steel-eyed death and men who are fighting to stay warm, come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Not a word was spoke between us, there was little risk involved. Everything up to that point had been left unresolved. Try imagining a world where it's always safe and warm. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. I was burned out from exhaustion, buried in hail, poisoned in the bushes and blown out on the trail, hunted like a crocodile, ravaged in the corn. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Suddenly I turned around and she was standing there, with silver bracelets on her wrist and flowers in her hair. She walked up to me so gracefully and took my crown of thorns. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Ah, but now there's a wall between us, something has been lost. I took my too much for granted and I got my signals crossed, just to think this all began on one uneventful morn. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Now the deputy walks on hard nails and the preacher drives him out. And but nothing really matters much, it's doom alone that counts. And the one-eyed undertaker, he blows a futile horn. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. I've heard newborn babies wailing just like a mourning dove, and old men with broken teeth are stranded without love. Do I understand your question? Is it hopeless and forlorn? Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. In a little hilltop village, they gambled for my clothes. I bargained for salvation and they gave me a lethal dose. I offered up my innocence and I got repaid with scorn. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Now I'm living in a foreign country, but I'm bound to cross the line. Beauty walks a razor's edge, someday I'll make her mine. If I could only turn the clock back to when God and her were born. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. Come in, she said, I'll give you shelter from the storm. That's Dylan's song, of course. And I guess the request that was made to me, it's appropriate that I would do this now. This is a song called Salt for Silver, and it's an homage, if you will, to Bob Dylan. I learned that Bob Dylan's hobby, when he's not, writing memorable songs or singing in his worn-out voice, is metal sculpting. He finds huge pieces of found metal, parts of machines and discarded things, and he welds them together into rather artful statues. I like them. They're similar, in fact, to Picasso's work. And I thought when I learned that it kind of defined the way he writes songs, too. And so, as a result of that, I wrote this song. I'll give you salt for silver if you'll only make the trade. This poetry, these melodies are things that I have made. I've woven them from songs I've heard, from stories I've been told. I'll give you salt for silver unless you offer gold. Gonna build a big machine, a mechanical collage. Gonna build it in the workshop in the back of my garage. It's gonna be a wild contraption made of cogs and wheels and gears and discarded bits of everything I've gathered through the years. And when it gets to rolling, it's gonna make an awesome sound, like thunder in the mountains or an earthquake underground. When I'm done, they're gonna beg me, please, what does that thing do? And I will turn around and ask them, man, well, what's it do for you? Gonna write a crazy song, not sure what it's gonna mean. Might be plain, might be a puzzle, might be something in between. Gonna populate the verses with people from my dreams. It might point to something deep, maybe just be what it seems. Oh, and when I get to singing, it's gonna make an awful noise. But I really can't be bothered by the folks my voice annoys. When I'm done, they're gonna beg me, please explain that thing to me. And I will turn around and tell the man it's nothing you can't see. Do I really have to tell you that is just the way I roll? I'm just a simple farm boy with a complicated soul, who set out first to follow in Woody Guthrie's tracks, to sing about the common man and the burdens on their backs. Gonna write an epic novel, a mountain range of prose. Might turn the tide of history or turn all my friends to foes. It's gonna be a wild concoction made of thoughts and words and prayers, though there might be nothing underneath when you peel away the layers. Oh, if I fail in that ambition, I'm gonna put away my pen, put on ordinary clothing, go and walk the world of men. Gonna look in all their faces at the stories in their eyes, in the hopes that all the misery I see there makes me wise. Do I really have to tell you that is just the way I roll? I'm just a simple farm boy with a complicated soul, who set out first to follow in Woody Guthrie's tracks, to sing about the common man and the burdens on their backs, who got waylaid in a city by the beatniks and the clowns, and the grief that always comes to you from mixing ups and downs, who tried his hand to Jesus and then suffered a relapse and had to rebuild his ideas from all these bits and scraps. I'll give you salt for silver if you'll only make the trade. This poetry, these melodies are things that I have made. I've woven them from songs I've heard, from stories I've been told. I'll give you salt for silver unless you offer gold. Salt for silver. I'm going to turn down my voice mic just a bit. I think it's starting to shriek on the high end there. That was for Lenny Molotov, my dear friend, who's a wonderful guitar player, band leader, guitar teacher, and a really, really great friend. And so happy to. Okay, this next thing is a Steve Earle song. I haven't done it an awful lot in recent history, so I'm going to put the lyrics out in front of me once again so that I don't mess it up. I heard Steve Earle sing this. This was the first time I even knew about Steve Earle at a political rally, and I know a lot of people hate it when their favorite singers turn political, but I'm on his side, so I got no problem with it whatsoever. This is not a political song. The eagle looked down on the river below. It folded its wings round him and it fell like a stone. The big salmon fought, but the talons held true, and he struggled as his world turned from silver to blue. I stood there in awe, though I'd seen it before. I was born in these mountains and I'll die here for sure. I've traveled around and I've seen city lights, but there's nothing that shines like the big sky at night. Some mornings will find me up above the timberline. Lonesome don't mean much when you're up here this high. When it's all said and done, I usually find that me and the eagle are of the same mind. When I was young, I had me a wife. Oh, but she never took to this high country life. Now I'm alone, and I don't usually mind, though her name echoes down through these canyons sometimes. Some mornings may find me up above the timberline, and lonesome don't mean much when you're up here this high. When it's all said and done, I usually find that me and the eagle are of the same mind. In my dreams there's a horse. He stands 18 hands high. He's as white as the snow, and there's fire in his eye. And he'll bear only me, though others have tried. 'Cause he's as white as the snow, and there's fire in his eye. And he'll bear only me, though others have tried. 'Cause he's as white as the snow, and there's fire in his eye. And he'll bear only me, though others have tried. 'Cause he's as white as the snow, and there's fire in his eye. And he'll bear only me, though others have tried. 'Cause he's as white as the snow, and there's fire in his eye. And he'll bear only me, though others have tried. 'Cause he's as white as the snow, and there's fire in his eye. And he'll bear only me, though others have tried. 'Cause he's as white as the snow, and there's fire in his eye. And he'll bear only me, though others have tried. 'Cause he's as white as the snow, and there's fire in his eye. And he'll bear only me, though others have tried. 'Cause he's as white as the snow, and there's fire in his eye. And he'll bear only me, and together we'll ride up across the divide. And together we'll ride up across the divide. Steve Earle's song. Still getting that kind of shrieky thing. I think turning down the overall volume a little bit there. Hope you folks are enjoying the show. I've prepared more than the usual dosage. I usually play for about an hour, but I've got a good 40 minutes more of music left inside of me. This next one is a video that I made, and I know you'll enjoy it very much. It's once again engineered and mixed by Dan Simpson. It's one of the earliest songs that I ever did write. I want to make sure I'm playing the right cut here. Number 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. And it was maybe the second or third song in my songwriting history. And I put together this lovely little video, which I'm going to go to right now. It is. And I'm going to play the video. Beside a water wheel, dawn was laying diamonds in the grass. My Evelyn looked gently down. Water was her looking glass. The snow had come and gone. Shoots of May were pushing through the ground. A bird did sing on every bough. Lord, it made the softest sound. Sun is rising, it's not surprising. I know the sun, he's my friend. I hardly know you. Where are you going to, and when will you be back again? Snow had come and gone. Shoots of May were pushing through the ground. A bird did sing on every bough. Lord, it made the softest sound. Sun is rising, it's not surprising. I know the sun, he's my friend. I hardly know you. Where are you going to, and when will you be back again? I hardly know you. Where are you going to, and when will you be back again? Beside a water wheel. And there we are, back with some live. I hope you enjoyed my song Evelyn. I'm really proud of that little song, because maybe that was the second good song I ever wrote. I guess I was 17 at that point. Songwriters, don't throw your songs away. And this next song is an example of how you might at one point think that the song isn't very good, and then later on you discover there's something really good lurking inside of that song. And that's, I found it, started singing it. My wife said, "Hey, I never heard you sing like that before." This is a song I wrote when I was with the Central Park Sheiks. And we played a fair amount of Western swing, cowboy jazz, and that was the main thrust of our band. We were the Eastern Kings of Western swing. But when we weren't doing that, we were doing, Bert Lee songs and Bob Hipkin songs, and they could be anything. Mostly, I tended to write either the jazz swing songs or these country songs. And this is one of those country songs. Blackbird sitting on a fence post, laughing like he knows some kind of joke. I fail to see what's so funny. My whole world just went up in smoke. Won't you let me in on the joke? Scarecrow dancing in a cornfield, dancing while the wind blows him around. Sometimes I feel like that scarecrow, watching over my dry patch of ground, while the wind just blows me around. There's a strange kind of music in the branches of the trees, like a song on a broken guitar. And those crows on a fence don't make any more sense than some crazy fools in a bar who sing a broke down honky-tonk waltz. Blackbird flies over to the scarecrow. It doesn't scare him a bit. It just sits on his shoulder to mock him, and it laughs at his own senseless wit. That scarecrow doesn't scare him a bit. Blackbird, fly away from my shoulder. Blues, fly away from my heart. I've had this shadow upon me, darling, since we've been apart. Oh, blues, fly away from my heart. There's a strange kind of music in the branches of the trees, like a song on a broken guitar. And those crows on a fence don't make any more sense than some crazy fools in a bar who sing a broke down honky-tonk waltz. A broke down honky-tonk waltz. Blackbird, fly away from my shoulder. Blues, fly away from my heart. I've had this shadow upon me, darling, since we've been apart. Oh, blues, fly away from my heart. There you go. The Blackbird and the Scarecrow, otherwise known as the Honky Tonk Waltz, by me. And I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that the buffering is not driving you too mad. I get the warning from time to time, but I'm not getting a failed signal warning. So let's see what time we're looking at here. I'm really gonna play until I feel like falling over. So I got lots of material left here. I'm gonna do some readings from some books toward the end here. If that doesn't appeal to you, I'll be doing some more music after that. But I want to do a reading from my book Dead Man's Coat, a nice little passage, not long at all, and a reading from Searching for a Reasonable God, the book that I'm in the process of finishing for submission right now. And I have a few more songs, and I appreciate your being here. Thank you so much for being here. If there's any more requests, add them to the mix. Don't be shy. I'm happy to do the tune for my friend Lenny. And if you like a song that I do, I don't see why you shouldn't just say, Bert, do that song. Okay, I'm gonna go right to the reading from Dead Man's Coat. And just so you'll know what this is all about, it's not a long passage. It's a description of a fellow named Joseph, who originally called himself Abraham, who the protagonist of this novel, who was my grandfather, encounters out in the Colorado Territory. At that time, Abraham played the fiddle and traveled from town to town as an herbalist and a scholar, and a man full of knowledge, but hiding from something. And if you're interested in knowing more about that, I'm going to put this page up here while I read from it. That's the first book on the left, Dead Man's Coat. And to set the scene up, Timothy, our protagonist, my grandfather, has traveled west to the Colorado Territory. And there he meets. So we continued west, most often following the course of the South Platte River. Gradually, signs of the war lessened, along with everything else that had to do with men and politics. The wild lands were beautiful. Abraham continued to bring in rabbits for stew and roots to cook with. Honestly, I learned a lot from him. I even tried a hand at his fiddle, and after a couple of nights I lost patience with that, as did he. Perhaps it was my fingers, or perhaps my ear, whichever. At one point he just reached over and took it back from me. "We'll get you some other kind of instrument, because that one is not working for you." We followed along the northern bank of the river, as it was safer than the hilly lands above it. We came upon occasional newly found settlements and other pilgrims in wagons, people dispossessed as we were, mostly being kind to one another, but some carrying considerable anger and unwelcoming to such as we. As well, there were many bands of rough men, and sometimes warnings were given of hostile Indians ahead of us so often we had to climb up into the hills for a day or so, then work our way back to the river. It was in the hills above North Platte we met with a group of Indians, Ho-Chunk and Omaha people, heading west toward their reservation, staying clear of the river themselves so as not to be mistaken as part of the Lakota uprising. Abraham knew something about all of that and seemed comfortable with the natives, as they with him. I was only mildly surprised to hear him speak their tongue. There was one particular Indian, a Ho-Chunk, very old, with a face like oak bark, who seemed interested in Abraham's fiddling. I gathered that he was dying, and their purpose as a group was to get him to the reservation near Sioux City to be with his family. In fact, we learned he had been part of the uprising, which I assumed meant he killed some settlers, but he had no bones to pick with us. He just leaned back against a rock and listened to the fiddle, and sometimes he'd sing, his voice like an old drum beating underground. I tried to give him the coat, hoping to be rid of it, one hard, cold evening when it seemed his blanket wasn't enough. I stripped it off of Butterfly and draped it over him. In the morning, he was dead. His companions gave me the coat back for my kindness to him. They gave me his blanket with a neck hole cut into it for wearing, and I have that still. After we parted company with him, Abraham leaned into his saddle horn, studying me now, draped in the old man's poncho. "Well, that's better than that coat, and there's no doubting it. No one will mistake you for a rebel now, nor an Indian either, not with that red hair," and he laughed. We rode back down the river plain, now well west of the North Platte, where we found a settlement that seemed like it might take us in for a while, if that's what we wanted. But these kinds of things never seemed to last. No place was settled, with all these troubles everywhere. Okay, that's from Dead Man's Coat, my grandfather's story, and I do hope you enjoyed that. And patience. As I was writing that book, I would frequently run out of steam writing prose, because I wasn't used to writing lots and lots of prose, and so I would, in fact, try to write or fashion a song. This is a song based on my grandfathers, both of my grandfathers, on my mother's side and on my father's side. I took details from both of their lives and merged them together into the cowboy from Boston. Now he played an old fiddle made over in Europe, recited the poets and quoted the bards, rode out of the east on a sway-apaloosa. The cowboy from Boston with a sleeve full of cards, with a hey diddle ho riding high in the saddle, a pearl-handled pistol and a master's degree, come 3,000 miles to the streets of Seattle to wet his fine whistle on some fresh Chinese tea. Kinda East Coast goes west to meet far east, you see. A good man or bad depends on just who was talking. He bluffed like a champion, or he lied like a snake. The ladies all swooned when he twirled his mustaches, and they snuck out the back door to bring him some cake, with a hey diddle ho riding over the prairie. Fancy pants holsters, real silver spurs. The music he fiddled was so fine and airy. Looking up in the sky, he could name all the stars. He knew all his history and the generals and wars. Now he rode down the coast to the West Texas border, to the Mexican desert where the summer was fierce. He got all caught up in the good revolution. He fought at the side of an old man named Bierce. With a Viva Zapata he gave a loud holler, his gentleman's clothing all spattered with mud. He shot like a bandit, he talked like a scholar, the cowboy from Boston, all hell-bent for blood. Just a cowboy from Boston won't come to no good. Not far from Houston, he stopped a stray bullet. The last words he said lifted right off the page. It was something he'd learned from the poet of Avon, how all men are players and life is a stage. With a viva la vida, that was how fate had planned it. There's no one can say once that hand rolls the bones. He talked like a scholar, but he shot like a bandit. The cowboy from Boston come a long way from home. The cowboy from Boston laying under some stones. Just a cowboy from Boston come a long way from home. The Cowboy from Boston. Story of my grandfathers. And let's see, and the plan, I will continue with my wild plan. Ah, here we go. Okay. After Cowboy from Boston, this is a quick reading, very, very brief, from Searching for a Reasonable God, which is my story when I moved into New York, ran away from home in upstate New York. The novel bridges the years that I was a teenager and my escape into New York and my life in the East Village, where I met so many interesting and fascinating people, so many that they overflowed that book and they started a book of short stories, which you could find called The White Chamber. But this book is called Searching for a Reasonable God, and this is a scene that happens in my commune, The Heavenly Breakfast, which was headed by science fiction writer Samuel Delany, and it's all about an acid trip that we took together. This is a very short description of a fellow that many of my friends know. I changed his name because he passed away before I could get permission to use his real name, and I didn't want to piss anybody off. But I called him John Long, and his friends will know. So, from Searching for a Reasonable God. John Long was one of the first people I ever met on McDougal Street. I had never encountered anyone quite like him before, and I doubt I will ever again. He was a being whose each and every detail contradicted its neighboring details. His usual get-up when he was out and making the scene was a dusty red velvet opera cape, a beret, powder blue toreador pants, beat-up Oxfords, and a balloon-sleeved shirt usually open to his chest. There was a goat-like aspect to his features, pointy beard, narrow, bony cheeks, and endearingly terrible teeth. A satyr in both appearance and appetite, he was one of that breed of men whose basic strategy was to hit on every woman that crossed his path until one submitted. He smoked enormous quantities of marijuana, drank strong coffee deep into the night, enjoyed filterless cigarettes most often borrowed from other people, and bragged without any evidence that he was a descendant of royalty. He played flamenco guitar, but not well. And in honor of him, a Dave Van Ronk song. He was a friend of mine. Yeah, he was a friend of mine. Whenever I start to think of him, I can't help but cry. And oh yes, he was a friend of mine. I stowed away and cried. Yeah, I stowed away and cried. I didn't have enough money to come and be by his side. Oh, I stowed away and cried. He never done no wrong. He never done no wrong. Oh, they never paid him much for his music and his song, and he never did no wrong. He was a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine. Whenever I get to thinking about him, I can't help but crying, and he was a friend of mine. In honor of a man who brought much into my life. Okay, I'm just going to do some more songs for you, then I'm out of here. I'm going to beat the dusty trail, the busty grail. I got a few more songs for you. Once again, if you've got, any of you, please, if you have a request, do not hesitate. I still got a lot of juice in me. And this is a recent song. Here's the plan. I'll tell you exactly what my plan is. I'm going to do this song, then I'm going to play a video of The Girl in the Golden Atom, which is a song I'm enormously proud of, with a very, very nice video that I've made for it. Then I'm going to do a Beatles song. Then I'm going to do The Blue Hotel. That's my plan. And then I'm going to do my usual outro with my little, people who come and visit me who've never seen me before might think I'm good. They want to do this thing down here, and I give them more information on the screen for a while, and I'll be playing a very, very nice tune by Jerry Merrick while that goes on. And so please, if you're here, stick around. I can't tell if anyone's here because no one's actually responding in the chat, but I'm going to assume that someone stuck around. Days and weeks go slipping by. All the things we put off pile up. All the things we choose to do some other day, they can wait for Thursday. I had some chores to run today, household shopping bills to pay, do the dishes, clear the shelves. Misery best kept to ourselves on Thursday. Buy some toothpaste, soap, and bread, all the ordinary life we've led. Make a list and get it done before it slips away, my son, on Thursday. Then the clouds, they opened over me, and the crowd, it parted like the sea. Set me down an unfamiliar path. Seeing you, I simply had to laugh. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way. Never thought I would find my way on Thursday. Do a foreshortened version of that. Hi, Drummy Granny. Well, you may be showing up late, but I've got lots of juice in me, so by all means, Misha, if you have a request, give me the request, because I have enough juice in me to play for another half an hour or so, and I only have a few songs lined up, and so let's see what I got here. Okay, here, this one's a challenge for me. Reason it's a challenge for me is that it's so simple that I always forget the lyrics. I can learn songs that have 10,000 lyrics in them. And I know many songs like that. But sometimes songs like this one elude me because they're so simple. I tried to play it yesterday and I did not do a very, very, very good job, so I'm doing it again. So you have a request? Oh, okay, Moonlight Palomino. I'll be happy to do that song. Let me do this song first. This is a Beatles song, and then I'm going to do Moonlight Palomino for my friend Misha from the West Coast. Half of what I say is meaningless, but I say it just to reach you. Julia, ocean child calls me, and so I sing a song of love. Julia, seashell eyes, windy smile calls me, and so I sing a song of love. Julia, Julia, morning moon, touch me, and so I sing a song of love. Your hair a floating sky is shimmering, glimmering in the sun. If I cannot sing my heart, I can only speak my mind. Julia, sleeping sand, silent cloud, touch me, and so I sing a song of love. So I sing a song of love, and so I sing a song of love, Julia. A pretty John Lennon song for you right there. And as per the request that I shall be happy to fulfill, hopefully can find the key to this song is the capo. It's one of those half capos. And once again, so happy to have all you with me as my friends. Oh, I'm glad you liked that. That song is a challenge to me, and I screwed it up again, but I didn't screw it up too bad. Eventually I'll get it, and I'll sing it just perfectly, because I love that song so very much. I used to have a signed copy of the Big White Album. Got stolen by a nasty roommate. What can you say? The world is full of cruelty. Here's another song based on my book, Dead Man's Coat. This is a portrait of one of the characters named Prospector Crane, an old man who decides that there's a better way to find gold than to just go sifting in streams, and becomes part of an ill-fated stagecoach robbery, which is at the heart of the novel. Rattlesnake waits in the shadow of a rock. Field mouse hides from the eyes of a hawk. Cactus stands like a statue of a man. Him and me and my horse named Dan on a dusty road. Indian watching from a switchback bridge. Ghost riders running up a cloudy bridge. Twilight stealing in a corner of the sky, riding along, thinking by and by I'll put down my load. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I want a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. There's a ghost town down where the creek ran dry, buzzards circled in the hard blue sky. Dusty old bar, empty bottles on the shelf, piano in a corner that plays itself. It's a spooky sound. I hitched my horse to an old fence rail, fetched up water in a leaky pail. I'm gonna get out of town before the daylight fails, 'cause I don't want to stick around. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I'd like a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. Jackrabbit runs from the scattering stones, blackbird cries to rattle your bones, cow skull laying by a watering hole. Don't drink there, you're gonna lose your soul in the burning sun. I left my home and I can't go back, wildflower growing in a wagon wheel track. Dry wind coming down from the hills, looking for a place a waterfall spills when the day's done. Give me sweet fresh water now, and give me a cool, cool breeze. Let me lay my head down in a grove of shady trees. I'd like a big white house with a pretty little wife inside, and a moonlight palomino I can ride. The moonlight palomino. Thank you so much. It's my friend Misha, my sweetheart. I have so many nice friends, and I do thank you all for attending my events. I could never ask more of you than what you do, because you show up all the time and you're so dear, and I play for you. Incidental people show up and they never announce themselves, and I always find out after the case. They just sort of lurk in the background. If you've never heard me before and you think I'm good, tell your friends that there's this old guy who's not all used up. Still got a lot of juice in him. That's me. I'm writing great songs. I'm playing better than I've ever played, and I think I'm singing okay too. And if you like what I do, of course, this down here is appreciated, and I'll be putting up more information about how you can sponsor me, and it'll give you some ideas about other friends of yours that do this live streaming thing and how we try to make it work for us. And that all said, I've got a few more songs for you right now. I'm going to do Blue Hotel. Then I'm going to do Amnesia, because I got a lot of juice in me left. And then I'm going to do my outro with a rendition of Jerry Merrick's song Follow, which is one of my favorite songs. And this is Blue Hotel. This was a tune I wrote when I was with the Central Park Sheiks, the Eastern Kings of Western Swing. It's always good to be in tune. That's what I've discovered long ago. The bellhop, he don't jump to do the chores. The elevator man's getting drunk between the floors at the Blue Hotel. At the Blue Hotel. We'll stay there overnight, they are bound to treat us right. You're always welcome at the Blue Hotel. The upstairs maid's got something going on the side. The house dick, he's been known to take a bribe at the Blue Hotel. You can bring along your aunt, meet me by the potted plant in the lobby of the Blue Hotel. When you step down and dine in our luxurious lounge, you'll get the finest meal that the house can sound. The chef is deaf, hear the waitress yell. In the kitchen of the Blue Hotel, the house band plays an anonymous bop. They play Savoy and the Bunny Hop. The busboys in the back room dancing with a mop. In the basement of the Blue Hotel, ring that bell if you want to call the clerk. Knock on the desk if the bell don't work at the Blue. At the Blue. Bring along your aunt, meet me by the potted plant in the lobby of the Blue Hotel. Now the desk clerk's name is Grit Pipe Thin, and he checks you out as he checks you in. He writes your name with a pen on a chain. As he does this thing, you check out the terrain. You see Slippery Sylvester and his sinister mob hanging out in the shadows that lurk in the hall. And the eyeballs are moving in a portrait on the wall in the foyer. And way up in the corner by the dusty curtain lining, there's a fat black spider dining. The picture isn't nice. There are poker playing mice behind the baseboards of the Blue Hotel. Ring that bell if you want to call the clerk. Knock on the desk if the bell don't work at the Blue. At the Blue Hotel. When we're coming off the street, you'll find the service so discreet. You're always welcome at the Blue Hotel. We'll stay there overnight, they are bound to treat us right. You're always welcome at the Blue Hotel. Don't steal the ashtrays. The Blue Hotel. And that, second to last song, I'm going to finish with another jazz song. Once again, a song that I wish I'd written while I was still with the Central Park Sheiks, because we would have torn it up. Well, the time can go so slowly in a barroom late at night, where the people move like ghosts through the smoky candlelight. And the band is playing something that's got distance, man, they're cool. In the shadows of a back room, some old boys are playing pool. And that blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. Now I get the funniest feeling, it must be deja vu. I'll tell you something, brother, just one time through will do. And it all comes back so clearly when I only stop and think. And on that note, I think I'll go and get myself another drink. And this blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. There's a joke I'd like to tell you, but they say my timing's off. And before I hit the punchline, I always take a drag and cough. And that's just another nasty habit that I really ought to break. Oh, but if I don't, you know that won't be my first mistake. Well, the bartender calls me buddy, and the waitress calls me hon. And the only song I request all night is Mother Nature's Son. Oh, but the band, they just can't swing to that, so they play some Miles instead. And these crazy syncopations are all just fucking with my head. And this blue light music's got me sinking. Well, now it's getting close to closing time, and the bouncer starts to loom, and the manager's turning out all the lights around the room, and the chairs are on the table, and the band is getting paid, and I leave here trying to hang on to those memories they played. And this blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. This blue light music's got me sinking into deep amnesia. That is the last live song of the night. I'm going to first off wish you all a delightful rest of your evening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being there with me and listening. I've got one more recorded thing which I'm going to put over my sponsorship page here. This is a tune that I recorded on an album called The Big White Album, and the song is by Jerry Merrick, and it's a classic Village song called Follow, and I think you'll like the way I do it. Meanwhile, thank you so much for being here. I love you all. If you're home, take care of yourselves. If you have to go out, wear your mask, clean your hands, wash behind your ears, love the people you live with, love yourself, you know, all the stuff that I adjure you, not abjure, that's a different word, adjure you to do. And so here it is. This is my sponsorship page. For those of you that have never seen me before, you might want to know how you can sponsor me, and along with it, this beautiful Jerry Merrick song. Let the river rock you like a cradle, climb up to the treetops, child, if you are able. Let your hands tie knots across the table. The things you cannot feel, and fold your fingertips and fly where I can't hold you. Let the sun rain fall and the dewy clouds enfold you. Maybe you can sing to me the things that I just told you. For all the things you hear ain't what they seem. And don't mind me, 'cause I ain't nothing but a dream. The mockingbird sings each different song. Each song has wings and won't stay long. To those who hear him think he's doing wrong, while the church bell tolls its one note song. Hear the school bells tinkling to the throng. Come here where ears cannot hear, and close your ears, child, and listen while I tell you. Follow in your darkest night whatever may impel you, and the song that I am singing may disturb or serve to quell you. For all the things you hear ain't what they see. Don't mind me,
fill our lungs with seas of life. Come smell and taste the water of our times. And close your lips, child, and softly I might kiss you. Let your flower perfume out and let the winds caress you. As I walk through the garden, I am hoping I won't miss you. For the things you touch ain't what they seem. Then don't mind me, 'cause I ain't nothing but a dream. The sun and the moon, they both alright. We'll see them soon, day and night. White silver leaves and mirrors bring delight. And the color of your eyes is fiery bright. See the darkness fill the sky with all its light. Come see where eyes cannot see. And close your eyes, child, and look where I show you. Let your mind go reeling out and let the breezes blow you. And maybe we will meet and someday I'll know you. For the things we see ain't what they seem. Then don't mind me, 'cause I'm